it comes down to awareness. You have to truly
Awareness.
be aware with you, and you have to have an honest conversation with yourself.
Mm.
You really do. And you need to find time for yourself to be by yourself. And a lot of people have a hard time with that. We have so much going on in our lives, social
Yep.
media, and all these gadgets and things that just constantly
Yep.
bombard us with information.
Yep.
Some of us don't like to be quiet or silent,
Yep.
but I think I have found that's where I find the answers.
You
And
know,
when you sit with yourself and start to have a simple conversation, and that
mm,
maybe that includes meditation or taking a walk in nature, which I love to do,
mm.
and just getting away from everything.
Welcome back to another edition of VisionCast Network, where intention, collaboration, and technology gather in service to humanity. I'm so excited to welcome today's guest, Sean Bradbury. Now, Sean has a fascinating niche. He works with single fathers, supporting them in raising their self-esteem and being more productive, loving, kind, and supportive in their lives and with their children. So welcome, Sean. It's good to see you again.
Yes, thank you so much, Christian. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. So let's dive in. Tell us how you got to do what it is that you do, the story that led you to where you are now in your service.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm kind of a late bloomer. I will admit I'm 56 years old. And
Okay.
so I'm looking to serve the person I used to be,
Yes.
6 months to a year behind me.
Yeah.
How this all came about was later, like I said, being a late bloomer as far as what I really wanted to do with my life and having purpose didn't
Hmm.
start till like I was around probably 50 years old. Um, that being said, I started to really dive into personal development, podcasts, joined Tony Robbins' Core 100 to begin. That was my first thing to do. But it was also based upon self reflection and inner awareness. And it really came from the foundation of, and I heard somebody say this once, not wanting to be a nice guy, but a good man.
Okay. You want to be a good man.
Correct.
Yes. Different than a nice guy. Good man is more what? Authentic, more heart-centered, more um
Yeah. Well, let me just unpack how I feel a nice guy is, first of all.
okay.
So growing up, I never liked that term nice guys because it's always equated with nice guys finish last and things along
Yeah.
those lines, right? So when I really thought about what that person said and I really started to unpack it, and I realized that I've been referred to as a nice guy. I mean, literally
Okay.
referred to like, hey, your dad's a nice guy, this and that. And you would think that that's a nice compliment. I'm not saying it's a
Yeah.
bad thing to be. But when I really looked at it and what it meant to me, it meant that throughout my life, most of my life, I was trying to be everything to everyone except for myself.
Ah,
And because of that, I didn't have my core values. I didn't have my standards. I
mm,
didn't have my boundaries in place. I didn't have all these things. And I was looking for acceptance everywhere else
you know,
and not putting myself first.
you know. So how did that show up in your life?
Well, the funny thing is, you go through life, life had to hit me multiple times
Okay.
with the same lesson over and over until I finally understood.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it took quite a while. Like I said,
Uh,
I'm finally at this place now in my mid 50s. It showed up with being unsatisfied at jobs. It showed up with not trusting myself. It was showed up as being unseen, being uncomfortable in certain locations, not being in the right communities, if you will, that
okay.
would support me.
Yep.
Um, and relationships, I just when you don't have your own core values and things along those lines, and you're willing to bend and give a lot, and overlook the things that you should probably like have like a hard list of maybe 5 or 10 things like, oh, these are
Yep.
my core values. I'm not going to bend on them. A lot of times I would kind of give in a little bit, think it's going to be okay, and in the long run it just wasn't. And that wasn't
Yeah.
the fault of anyone else but myself because I wasn't
Okay.
being honest with myself.
Right. That's one of the toughest things to do. Yes, being honest with oneself.
Yes,
Yes,
without a doubt.
yeah, without a doubt. What do you think it takes to be honest with oneself?
I would say, and this is just my experience as well, Stop looking for external validation.
Stop looking outside.
Yeah.
Stop
Stop
pushing.
looking. Yeah.
Stop pushing
Stop
against
trying to
that
find the
door.
answers out there, like
Yeah.
for your work or relationships and things like that. Kind of like even when it comes to money or things like that. Well, oh, this job pays this much. Well, maybe I might want to do that. Well, I
Yeah.
never really wanted to do that. I didn't want to set out to do that. So it was almost kind of like chasing the shiny object
Yeah.
that's outside of you and not really looking inside
Mm.
to see what it's going to take.
Lovely. And that kind of dovetails into a question I jotted down a moment ago. How does that relate? You're serving the person you used to be, which is a fantastic idea. So, how does what you've learned inform what you do now? Follow what I mean by that?
Yeah, if you could unpack that a little more, that'd be great.
Yeah, so the idea is that I'm serving the person I used to be. I realize
Hmm.
that I used to look outside. This is what I heard you say. I used to look outside of myself for validation in people, places, and things that I thought maybe I could afford or have. And then I would therefore become more confident, more self assured, happier about my life. That's what I heard you say. Is this true? Is this resonating with you?
Oh yeah, I mean it was a false sense of identity.
False sense of identity.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean I wasn't being myself, and then if I wasn't being myself, really, there's nothing else that could truly build and last and be sustainable, and there was
Yeah.
no growth.
It did not feel good. So in that sense, you had an aha moment. It's like, okay, I'm going to serve people that used to be there
Yeah,
because what I learned was that that does not work.
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. And I tried to fill the space at times by doing things, collecting things,
Yeah.
watching things. I mean, I watched movies over and over again. I mean,
Yeah.
growing up, if you brought me to a video store, I know I'm dating myself now, but you brought me to a video store, you'd have a hard time probably finding something we could watch together because I saw everything.
Right.
So, you know, it's that kind of thing. It's those
Yeah.
realizations of looking back and not being hard on yourself, but looking back and being honest with yourself to say, these are the things. And as far as an aha moment goes, within like the past year and a half, and and this is the honest truth, I woke up one morning
Mm.
and I'm like, this has got to stop.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. I
Yeah.
just I just can't. I think it was life giving me lessons that I hadn't learned. I think it
Mm.
was my subconscious had enough. It was many
Yeah.
different things. And I'm like, okay, we got to stop wasting our time. We got to set some boundaries. We got to do a
Yeah.
bunch of things because this is not working.
Mm. So you got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, and the hard thing is when you get the sick and tired, that's a great revelation. But then what do you do with it? You
Yeah,
know?
there's the pain on the other side of that.
Yeah. What do
You
you
know,
do with it?
gosh, what have I done? Yeah, so
Yeah.
what do you do with it?
You
Or what
really start with
did
just
you do with it? What
yeah.
did you do with it?
Well, the good thing is I was laying some good foundations, good fundamental practices. I
Mhm.
I listened to a lot of podcasts and I started taking chances. In my early 50s and things like that. I started to do activities that I always wanted to do. I challenged myself.
Okay.
I tried improv. I tried
Hmm.
stand up.
Yep.
I was in a production of Matilda. How that
Okay.
happened, I have no idea. I fell into it kind of ass backwards and I
Yep.
went with it and it was wonderful.
Hmm.
Um, and just listening to the podcast and resonating, and I started just realizing who am I really spending time with? And also what are the conversations I'm having,
Yeah.
you know? And were they meaningful and were they empowering and were they worth my time? And were they growth worthy?
Hmm.
You know? It kind of all started there. And then I just kind of tried to build on that foundation.
You're building on it.
Yeah.
And do you have a couple of life hacks or a hack to support other people in taking that step and building on the foundation?
It's just really, I think it comes down to awareness. You have to truly
Awareness.
be aware with you and you have to have an honest conversation with yourself.
Mm.
You really do. And you need to find time for yourself to be by yourself. And a lot of people have a hard time with that. We have so much going on in our lives, social
Yep.
media, and all these gadgets and things that just constantly
Yep.
bombard us with information.
Yep.
Some of us don't like to be quiet or silent,
Yep.
but I think I have found that's where I find the answers.
Yeah.
And when you sit with yourself and start to have simple conversation, and that
Mm.
maybe that includes meditation or taking a walk in nature, which I love to do,
Mm.
and just getting away from everything, I will say be honest with yourself, but also be kind.
Ah, yes.
You
Honesty,
have to
kindness.
be kind.
Yeah.
You cannot beat yourself over the future, excuse me, over the past.
Yep.
Past is gone. Take it and learn from it, but it's over, you know?
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. So it's kind of like see your future and like resolve or heal your past. Past is
Yeah,
gone.
right. But also don't look too far in the future. I know we like to visualize the future. I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, but I've also found the power is in the present moment.
Ah, yes. There's a great book, Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle that talks about that. This
Yes.
power in the moment. Yes.
When
Beautiful.
we're in the moment, that's where life is. That's where life happens.
Yep.
You live in the past, you live in regret, you live in
Yep.
future, you might live in fear or uncertainty and things like that. So, of
Yes. Now, beautiful. So I have a couple of final questions for you. Is that okay?
course.
First question is, Sean, how do people reach out to you and connect with you? What's the best way to do that?
Well, I don't have a huge social media presence, but I am on Facebook.
Okay.
You can just go ahead and look me up by my name. I have my personal page there. And then recently, I've also created a private Facebook group called Empowered Middle-Aged Single Fathers.
Hmm.
So there, you can go there, read my bio, what I'm about. If any of this resonates
Yeah.
with the listeners or anyone that they know,
Yeah.
please check it out.
Empowered middle-aged single fathers.
Fathers.
Yeah,
Correct.
beautiful. Or your personal Facebook page, Sean Bradbury, SHAWN. Beautiful. So, final question. What is the one single thing you would like the listeners to take away from this conversation today?
Yeah, that's a great question. Something I've actually been thinking about too. Have the honest conversation with yourself and who is guiding your inner, is your inner voice guiding you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you living by your standards? Are you living by your values? Have you set up your boundaries? Have you put yourself first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for your time. I really super appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
No, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It sounds like throughout the course of your years, you've had some really difficult situations. And
Yes.
I'm wondering if you'd be willing to open up a little bit about not necessarily the specifics, but what that cost you in terms of what you had to invest to get through it, like emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever the case may be. And then what was the harvest on the back end?
Well, I think by not trusting myself and being authentic, I think what it cost me was time. It cost me time doing the things that I really wanted to do and love. Time with precious time and valuable time building a healthy relationship. Unfortunately, I'm divorced and I've had subsequential relationships after that. And it wasn't until I came to this revelation here and where I'm at that unless I fix myself, unless I really get to know me and really set the foundation of who I am and my core values and everything, putting myself first, setting the healthy boundaries that I need to, that I never established.
Yes.
And that was the hardest part, because even with my daughter, like setting boundaries with my daughter and my expectations with her,
Yeah.
I realized that I don't blame anybody but myself first and foremost. because I never set the expectations. I never shared the expectations, even if I had them. And I didn't stand true for what I valued. And that was driven by, I'm sure, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, and many other things if I truly, delved into it.
So that sounds like a really powerful realization or realizations. What would you say has been the benefit of that experience? What has that all shown you? That's quite an investment.
Yeah.
What was the return on your investment?
Well, it's a constant return first and foremost. It's constant growth. You never stop growing. And if you stop being aware of things, you will fall back. So it's a constant cycle of being aware of what's going on and continuing your growth. But I think what's helped me the most is being in a beautiful community, surrounded by people, and being authentic and honest. Truly just knowing that if I say something, you may not like it, and I'm okay with that. Being authentic, truthfully, and I never really thought about this till recently, it's kind of the separator between who am I supposed to be around and who am I not supposed to be around.
Right.
But we're so worried about this side.
Yeah.
I'm so worried about these people I don't even know, who may not even like me, that by doing this, I negate these people.
Yeah.
And I negate the possibility of good relationships and friendships and community and things along those lines. So just empower yourself to be authentic and true and speak your truth.
Beautiful. So one final question, Sean, how are you now investing that invaluable, non-refundable time?
As far as how am I helping to serve?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, currently what I'm doing is I'm setting up a course on 5 main pillars that have helped me to get where I am. And once I have this course built, I'm going to start serving the person I used to be.
Love that idea. I wish I had met you several years ago.
I wish I had met you several years ago as well.
That's it for another edition of VisionCast Network, where intention, collaboration, and technology gather in service to humanity. So if you like this edition, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more good content. Until later, this is your host, Christian Raphael. Have a great day. Go out and do something nice for somebody, an unmet friend. Blessings.